How you going, folks? I'm going to do a video today with using some pretty cool stuff. It's from Jerkbait Mania, Predator Fiber. This one's hot purple e-socks, and I'm going to be using Pike Skins Predator Fiber again, and this one's steel grey. Not used this before, but I've just tied a fly just to try it before I did the video. So I'm going to be showing you all how to do one of these kind of funky rainbow trouts using the Predator Fiber and using this stuff, which is a crinkle brush. Nice crinkle flash in there. So I'm going to be using that as well, and it comes out of the pack actually. It's quite nice. You'll probably get this particular fly, you'll get a couple out of each. It's a very fine, nice material. So I made this one up just about 20 minutes ago. Put the eyes, epoxied the eyes on. I'm going to put some dots on it later. We've got actually a cracking little rainbow trout pattern, if you ask me. I don't mind if I do. I like that a lot. Okay, so making them. Right, let's get fibers out. Okay, so we're using the Pike Skins Steel Grey, and again a really big pack of that. I'm quite impressed with that. It's a Pro Tires pack, and again the same with the hot purple e-socks. Quite a nice mix of colour as well. Quite like that. Okay, so we're going to tie it on a Sakuma Manta. I like Sakuma Manta hooks. This is the Manta Extra. Quite a good tough hook. Nice wide gape on it. See, that's actually the 7.0. Okay, so here we go. Hook in position there. Okay. Right. The only other thing I'm going to use that I didn't get from Jerkbait Mania, I'm going to use some Flashaboo. That's just to get a wee bit of extra sparkle in the actual material. But I'll show you how to do that. Okay. So mono thread. I usually start off just where the hook point is. Forgive me if my breathing's a little heavy today. I seem to be developing a cold, which is typical when you've got a few days off work. You always get ill. So. Okay. I'll put a little bit of varnish. Again, reason for doing the varnish is it toughens up the mono thread and it stops teeth going for it and your fly falling apart. Okay. So we'll grab just a tiny little bit of this. Again, as I've always said many times in other videos that I've done, less is always more when it comes to synthetics. We still see people using way too much. Again, if you want to use too much, that's fine, but you get more flies out of using less, and you get a more mobile fly. As you can see with that, that's dropping down. Okay. Right, so what I'm going to do is just tie that on. I'll do quite a big fly this time, I think. I'll just tie that on there. And a couple of wraps around. When you do that, you can actually see the varnish seeping up through, and that's going to be solid as a rock. Okay, so what I'll do just now is I'll get some silver, just a couple of strands. Silver Flashaboo, like so, and I'll lay that on the top, and what I'll do, just so it just comes out the edge, the end. A few wraps round, like so. Perfect. Now what I'm going to do is just fold that all the way back. kind of buries itself in the material, which is quite nice. Very soft actually, this material. I'm quite impressed. Yeah, it's nice and soft. Slight crinkle in it, which is fine. You know the old trick if you want to get crinkle out of a fibre. What you need to do again, if you want to get the crinkle out, is just hold it and then just pull it through your hand a few times like that, and you'll get your fibre straight. That's quite a good, neat little trick. Okay, so as you can see, there's a bit of flash just inside that. And that's your flash boot. So I'm going to now get another couple of bits. Okay, but this time what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay that on the top. A couple of wraps around to secure. Varnish is still tacky on there, so we're good to go with that. Okay, with this one I'm going to lay that just on top, and then with these two fingers just push it down slightly so it covers the hook shank. And then get a couple of wraps around that. That'll do fine. So now what I'm going to do is split, like so, and split it on either side of the hook and bring it back. This is where less is more, because you get a really nice profile by using less material, which is ultimately is what you want for a predatory fish. You want your fly to look like a fish, you know, so I don't like putting huge amounts of stuff on. Okay, so that's pretty much looking good. Good back profile on that. Happy. So this time I'm going to grab again a little bit more of this, and what I'm going to do is just fold that in half like so. And then just give it a chop. And the longest piece, although folding it in half you shouldn't have a longest piece, but because you've tapered it a little bit by pulling the ends, obviously you're going to get one end a bit bigger. Okay, so on and split around the hook. Couple of wraps in just to hold it. A little bit of varnish. Okay, and then we're just going to fold that back and split it either side of the hook, like so. A few wraps around. The varnish is coming through that lovely, so that again it's going to be rock solid. Looking good, looking good. Okay, so now I'm going to go back with this piece. Same thing again. You've already got a little bit of taper on it. Yeah, it's a lovely, very soft, very silky material. Just the odd long one that I don't want. Okay, so that's that bit, and obviously we're going to fold that back, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put another couple of bits of flash glue in there. It will only actually be a couple of strands this time, because what I'm going to do again is I'm going to half that one and cut. If I can get it placed either side of the hook. There we go. Just gives it that nice little bit of sparkle in the belly, as you'd expect maybe from a bait fish, and fold that over. This is going to give you that kind of really nice profile. And back. tidy up any loose ends. That's looking pretty good. Okay, so that's pretty much the silver element belly of that done. So we're going to move on now and do the back, because you noticed I've not actually tied anything in at all there, different colour. So we're going to start off with a little thin piece. Again, you get quite a lot of flies out of that pack, to be honest with you. Again, less is more. I mean, if you can see that, hardly anything I'm using. Good value for money. I think they retail, I think I've got Chris's website here actually, Jerkbait Mania. This stuff, I can't remember what I paid for it now. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, fly tying, that helps. Chris has actually got quite a lot of good stuff on his site. Pike skins, predator fibre. Okay. Yep. So you're looking at about £3.89 for a really good sized pack, which is quite cool. Jerkbait Mania have actually got quite a lot of stuff. You know, they've got walls, pulse caps, other stuff that I'm actually going to probably buy later on, because I'm just seeing stuff now. Chris puts stuff on the site and updates it on Facebook and stuff, so if you just go and have a look at his site, it's jerkbaitmania.co.uk, but I'll put a link underneath this video so you can go and check out Chris's stuff. Nice, easy to use, friendly website, takes PayPal and all the usual type of stuff. But anyway, so back to this. Okay, so we've got our purple. You can see how that shape's starting to develop now. It's looking, I'm quite impressed. Looking quite good there. So I'm going to put some gold in there now. So a couple of pieces. Lay in there and take pretty much the whole length of the back, because this will mostly get buried within the fibre. I'm not sure if they actually do like a, I'll have to have a look later, because sometimes you can buy this stuff with flash already in it. Personally, I like that, but I kind of like to add my own stamp to it and put different colours and stuff and blah blah blah. So that's that. So there we go, and we're just going to fold that over. So looking good. That's quite a good profile on that. Yep, I'm happy with that. So I'm just going to add a little bit of varnish onto that. Again, just to make that too-proof. To the back. I just had some chocolate biscuits before I do this, so you see me licking my lips because I've got chocolate on my beard. Chocolate sponsors, please feel free to send me boxes of chocolate. Okay, that's dried a bit. So I'm going to get some little super glue now, and what I'm going to do is just touch that just at the back of there, just on the top, because that's where we're going to tie in our wire. Dubbing brush. Yeah, lovely, and it's like a, I think it's like a kind of, it reminds me of kind of like a straight and crinkle flash, if that makes sense, but it's really nice. Okay, so we're going to tie that in just at an angle, like so. So it's lying this way, and then we're just going to put a few wraps around there on top of where the glue is, and that really will make that bomb proof. That's going nowhere. Okay, you see I brought my bobbin right up to the very tip, so it's just out the way. Okay, so we're now going to tie this in. So what to do is go round, and on the underside is hold them back and then round, and then pull them back towards the back of the fly and round. Lovely, lovely dubbing brushes these. And the one I'm going to show you next, the next fly I'm going to do, it's a mix of predator skins or pike skins and flash, and that is really, really good. I'll show you that in the next video. In the meantime, just keep wrapping it around, and you want to go tie up back against itself right up to the last turn, building up a nice bit of bulk on the head, and just pull it out. You can see how that's going. And right up tight. If you like, if you wanted to at this point, you got halfway along, you could stick some glue in if you're worried about anything. Personally, I don't bother, but just a little bit on there like that if you wanted to. I don't personally, but for peace of mind, you know, it's built on wire, so you know you're tying it quite tight, so it's not going to go loose. Okay, so wrap around, pull back, around, and you're building that nice head up. Hell, that hook was sharp. Be careful of sharp hooks as well. Okay, we just keep going around. And each time tie up against the last turn. And there you go. Okay, so to finish off, what we do, there's that bit of wire there. So we have that sticking out at a slight angle, and just get your thread, a couple of turns round, and then you want to try and snip that as close, small scissors, as close in as you can, hardly any waste. Again, these pike brushes, Crinkle Flash, are available on Jerkbait Mania's site. See how cool that is. And it's fairly easy to tie that. You know, you could, if you want, I suppose, leave it like that. But I'm going to do put some pen on that and stuff, and colour it a little bit, and you'll see. You know, just to darken the back and stuff. Just to bit more rainbow troutish. I'll probably put some dots on that later as well. So we'll just get a few wraps up there. Always worth checking just around there to make sure the wire isn't sticking out and it's fully covered. If you've nipped close enough, just a couple of turns and it will cover that. Okay. I'm just going to apply a little heat just to the end of that, just to tidy up. It's fine. Okay, so now we're going to do some colouring. Usually an old piece of paper or something. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this, but I'll give it a try. So if it doesn't work, apologies. Right, let's give this a go and see if you can see this. I think you should be able to see that from there. Okay, so I'm using a Sharpie, two-ended, one end's chiseled and the other end's the pointed. So I like to use the chiseled end for this. So what we're going to do, we only want kind of a bit of a black head on that. So what we'll do is just kind of find halfway and just gently, and just remember it doesn't have to be completely black. I'm just going to come down a little bit on the material there. So I said you don't have to have it completely black, just nice to have some sparkle showing through that. And again, holding it down. Yeah, and you don't need to be an artist to do this. I'm not an artist, far from it. Piss artist maybe, but there we go. Okay, so I'm going to put a few dots on that just now, just to show you how it's done. Again, you could use the same side. Don't need to use the pinpoint one. Just stick a couple of dots on it. Rainbow troutish. Again, there's a lot said about different patterns, you know, using rainbow trout flies on trout lakes and stuff, and you know, lots of theory goes into it, big sparkly things or whatever, you know, but I always say fish with what you like. If you're confident in your fly, half the battle is actually getting the fly past the fish, you know. So don't be fooled into thinking, you know, what's the next must-have pattern. It doesn't kind of work like that. Half the time you get a fly fluttering past a hungry pike, your fly looks like a disabled fish, the pike's going to nab it. I'm a great believer in that, the pike being a bit of an opportunist. You know, if it sees a disabled fish, it's an easy meal. Even if it makes a half-hearted grab at it because it's not hungry, yeah, it'll still take it. Okay, so we're just going to come back to me. Okay. Do that. Just go a wee bit more on the back. Okay, all good. As you can see, the gape on that, although it looks quite big around the head area, and think, oh, it's not going to hook. If you look, you know, when a pike hits that, you actually have, I can get my finger in there. Obviously it's going to be a bit compressed in the water anyway. The fish is going to hook up on that, no problem at all. Okay, eyes wise now, I'm going to use some hard eyes on these. These are going to be 12mm. Bags have got a lot of me. Right, these are the 12mm eyes. Final pliers. Okay, just a pair of snips, and what I do is take the back off these. You can use your ordinary 3D type eyes, not a problem. Whatever eyes you fancy, whatever floats your boat. The reason I use these is because it adds weight to the head. Let's mix up some epoxy. because you're adding weight to the head, what that actually does, when you strip it in, you like give it a big strip and a pause, it will go like a jerk bait on the surface, and it will go from side to side. Very, very, very good movement in them. Okay, we're just going to mix that epoxy up. Again, I use Z epoxy, 30-minute. You can use 5-minute epoxy if you want. Obviously I make up a lot of flies, so the 30 minutes fine for me for applying. Okay, so we'll just give that a mix. And again, with the 30-minute epoxy, you can come back to it and you can adjust your eyes as you see fit, because it's still quite pliable. When it does start to go off, you know, and go rock solid, it literally goes, it seems to be within seconds. But yeah, so it's a half-hour epoxy. I've used a few different epoxies, but this is the one I always come back to, always use, best of the bunch. Again, like I said, they do a 5-minute version. If you're only doing one fly, you know, that's fine. So, epoxy, I've just laid it on, and you might have seen me there, just pushing it through. We've got dubbing needle, so you put it on, push it through, bring it back. What you're actually doing there is you're actually pushing the epoxy into the material, and you're actually adding weight to that by pushing that through. If you just leave that on the surface and put your eye on, what would happen is your eye would just stick to the first couple of layers and come out like that. So by pushing it through, the whole thing goes solid, and it adds to the weight of the fly in the water, and it really does help with the action. I've worked on that for I don't know how many years, and I kind of come to a place where I'm happy and I know how the fly is going to work by the amount of epoxy I've put in. See, I'm just pushing that through. Like so. Just going to add a dab on the top. So a lot of guys use the UV stuff now. Oh, don't get me wrong, the UV resins and stuff are really, really good. I tend to not really use it on pike flies for the eyes, obviously because of the weight issues and stuff, because the UV stuff weighs nothing. What I do use it on the saltwater flies though, on the small sand eels and stuff. I'll use the UVs. On the pike flies I tend not to, because of the size of bottles. You don't really get a huge amount out of a bottle if you're doing this kind of stuff. Right, so what I'm going to do now is just put a little leftover epoxy around the nose. Like so, and then you just pretty much attach the eyes. You know, a lot of people put their eyes right at the very front. That floats your boat, that's fine, or if you like. I prefer to have mine just back a bit. I mean, when did you ever see a fish with no mouth and just a big pair of eyes as a head? So that's where I prefer to have my eyes, and that's looking good. And pretty much, again with a 30-minute, you can keep pushing it in, and there you have Big old rainbow trout. Yep, liking that a lot. Thanks for watching.